Hi, I'm Cherylin, and today we're going to be replacing the blower wheel in a Whirlpool electric dryer. You'll need to replace the blower wheel if it's no longer rotating and circulating air through the dryer. This repair should take about a half hour to 40 minutes. For this repair, we're going to need several tools. Stiff putty knife, Phillips head screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, 1/4-inch nut driver, 5/16 nut driver, and 2 wrenches, 7/16 and 13/16. I would also recommend a set of work gloves to make sure your hands are protected while we're doing the repair. If you don't already have a new blower wheel, it is available for purchase on our website. Before repairing any appliance, always make sure it is completely disconnected from its power source. To start the repair, we're going to need to remove the lint screen and remove the 2 screws at the top of the lint chute. Make sure to catch them before they fall down the lint chute. Now what we need to do is flip up the top of the machine. In order to do that, we need to unlock the 2 locking mechanisms about 1 inch in on either side with our stiff putty knife. Make sure the blade of the putty knife is above the 2 tabs. Push in till it unlocks and then push up. Do the same to the other side. Now that we're going to start working inside the dryer, I would recommend putting on that pair of gloves. There are a lot of sharp edges inside the machine, so we just want to make sure our hands stay protected. Then we can lift the top of the machine up, lean it against the wall. If you don't have a wall to lean against, you can create a suspension system. There are 2 holes here and here. If you have any wire or string, you can create that suspension system and keep that tension off the wires. Next, we need to disconnect the door switch. So we'll take our putty knife, release the lock tabs on either side of the door switch, so we can pull it apart. Now we're going to remove the front panel. In order to do that, we need our 5/16 nut driver in order to remove the 2 screws on the front inside of the dryer. Now we're going to remove the front of the dryer. Just be aware that the drum of the dryer will tip out once the front is removed. It's okay, you can leave it, it's not going to fall out. So what we're going to need to do is lift up on the front and back out to get off the latches on the bottom of the dryer. And then you can set it off to the side. To get the drum out, we need to release the tension on the belt, so we're going to be working down here in the motor pulley system. To release the tension on the belt, you need to support the drum. You can use your shoulder for that. Then you need to push the idler pulley to the right. This will loosen up tension on the belt. And you can take the belt right off the motor. This will release the drum and the belt and the idler pulley. You can take the idler pulley right out. Now you can remove the drum by lifting up on the belt and sliding forward and put it out of the way. We need to remove the blower clip at the back of the motor. Use the flathead to pry the clip off the hook that holds it in place. Then take it out, removing it from the hook on the other side as well. Now we need our wrenches. The 7/16 goes behind the pulley and the 13/16 goes on the blower wheel. Hold the pulley in place while you loosen the blower wheel. It may be a little tight, just knock it loose. Then we can unscrew the blower wheel by hand to get it off the motor. In order to get out the blower wheel, we're going to need to spin around the machine to have access to the back panel. In order to remove the back panel, we're going to need to remove the 9 1/4-inch screws around the outside. We're going to start with this one right up here. It holds in the small access panel. Once we unscrew this one, it'll release the small access panel and it'll slide right out. Now we can tip the back panel out, pull up and set to the side. So here we have the blower housing. It's held in by 4 1/4-inch nuts. Once we remove those, we'll have access to the blower wheel. So here we have the blower wheel. In order to get it off the motor completely, just give it a nice clockwise spin. And you can slide it right out. So here we have our new blower wheel. It's really easy to install. Just go ahead and put it right back on the motor and give it a spin counterclockwise. Now we can reinsert the blower housing. It may take a little bit of wiggling, but just line up the holes and you'll be all set. Screw the 4 1/4-inch nuts back in. Now we can replace the back panel. Line up the grooves on the bottom. Should be able to tip right up into place. Rescrew in the 8 nuts on the back panel. So now we can replace the back access panel. Slide the metal tab into the hole. Push in. Line that up so you can screw in your last 1/4-inch screw. Now we can spin around the dryer to finish up the repair. Tighten the blower wheel back on the motor with the wrenches. And lastly, replace the blower clip. Make sure the air is pointing towards the blower wheel. To latch it into place, I like to line up my flathead with the hook and whack it on. Replace the drum, felt side back. Set the drum on the support rollers. Make sure that the felt isn't folded in anywhere. And usually the drum will have markings from the belt. Try and line up the belt with those markings. In order to reinstall the pulley system, you're probably going to want to take off your gloves just because this requires a little bit of precision. You're going to need to support the drum again. Make sure it's lined up with the back and on the support rollers. You're going to take your idler pulley, slide it into the slots it came out of. You take the belt, wrap it around the pulley, push a loop through the bottom of the pulley, push the pulley to the right, wrap the belt right around the motor. Like that. Push the drum against the back of the dryer, give it a little spin to make sure everything's lined up. Now we can replace the front panel. Make sure to have your 5/16 nut driver and nuts handy because we're going to be screwing them in as soon as we get the front panel on. Now this can get a little bit tricky. You have to push the drum back. At the same time, you're lifting the front panel onto the hooks at the bottom. Sometimes it takes a little bit of wiggling. Reconnect the door switch. And we can close the lid. Rescrew in the screws. No gloves needed. Then replace the lint screen. Now, wasn't that easy? Here's a quick recap. All of our OEM parts and tools are available for purchase on our website. Check them out, along with our social media sites here.